You've been studying anatomy, and now you're starting to do more dynamic poses. You're getting a grasp on foreshortening, and long gone are those days where you would hide hands in pockets. But now you've made your own pose, and something just seems a little off. Maybe you can't quite put your finger on it. Maybe you have a guess, but you're not sure beyond that. Don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm Unkempt Snugglepepper, and in this episode of Art Critiques from Reddit, we are going to be looking at anatomy and a bunny girl.
So we have this bunny girl, and the first thing I did was make the canvas a little bit larger. It looked like, based on the top and where her foot is, that you ran out of paper space, and so decided to foreshorten that leg in order to make up for it. One of the cool things I like about doing these is I get to see a lot of really cool pieces, and I think this one counts as a really cool piece. I love your ability to show that the drill is spinning and to still make it read as a caret. I think that's very clever. I also like the use of purple to contrast against the orange. I think it's a great color combination. I love purple. The one thing I would note on color is that you have this one green item here, but I feel like there needs to be more green over here, or perhaps make her carrot grenade green a little bit bigger. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this layer and make it 45% and hide the layer below it. I just duplicated it. And then we're going to talk about anatomy and which way things are facing. One problem, I like that her hand is open as if she's about to grasp it. However, her hand would smush this breast down, or her arm reaching across. In addition, having your hand completely flat like this is very challenging to do when you're holding your hand out to grab a large object. What I would do instead is look at poses of people swinging sledgehammers and axes in order to chop wood. You'll find that her hand would probably do better hitting up here. There's her knuckles. And then moving down into her wrist. Those are a little big in comparison. Put her knuckles up there. And then there's her gauntlet, and it goes into the shoulder. I would even these shoulders out just a little bit. I think this is getting a little too extreme. I think her face facing this way is good. However, with her head turned this far to the side, it's very hard for her breast to be turned this far over, in addition to having her chest out. So I would bring the center line of her and her chest down like that. And then breasts have weight, especially since this doesn't have straps. While you're going for a pinup, I would add more of that teardrop shape for them to be more realistic and sit a little bit lower on the chest. And then I feel like that hand hits pretty well. I like her little gauntlets. I had something similar when I did marching band in college. I mean, they were a pain in marching band, but they look cool on her. And of course, the handle is going this way. With the hips, as we follow the center line down, we aren't going to quite get this pose. And what this reminds me of is someone running to first base. So if our chest is facing out that way, then this leg should go straight out. And that's going to be juxtaposing this leg, which is bent. With this leg in her current position, you put the knee facing there. That's what the shadows and the lines seem to suggest, is that the knee is almost facing inward. It's a little confusing. So I would make her entire leg straight. And what happens when we do that is that we're also going to elongate her figure. The foot isn't going to be able to turn in quite that far, because here's our hip, here's our femur going down, and her foot, especially in this pose, wouldn't be able to turn in that far. Now with the other leg, I would move it to be closer to this leg. And that gives the appearance that she's springing that way and going to move this down on top of whoever she's looking at, rather than she just got hit and she's trying to stop herself from sliding. So move this leg in here. You can still foreshorten it and give her the appearance of running. And actually, I would slant that angle a bit. I think that pose is beginning to work a lot better. Because we have that look like she's pulling back in order to make a more devastating swing. So then we still get her leotard coming up. I would say a little note. I think if you bring the shoulders to be more level, then her waist would have to drop just a little bit. There doesn't seem to be enough space between her shoulders and her hips. So I think your problem with the legs was that this one was moving too far this way, and then this one ran out of room, so you tried to foreshorten it. But these shadows and lines beside where the kneecap is makes it look like her foot is turning in too far. So I think that's what you were seeing and having some issue with. The other thing, I would take this white highlight since you have it on this side. This leg is facing the highlight, so I would put it there as well. So that's the pose I would give her. I think she still has the opportunity to have larger bust size and still read as being very sexy, but also still reading as very strong.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next time.